The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio.
Coming up on the program today, we're going to discuss, well, it's sort of true, but not really. And the world of lettuces. Our guest is food preserver and garden blogger Linda Ziedrich will be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour is full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. I am your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Whether you're tuning in on one of the 20 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2025 for Season 9, through our radio app, through our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page, podcast replay, in-studio video replay, however you're consuming the program, we thank you very much. You want to be part of the program in which you're consuming, you can do that as well. Two simple avenues. You can give us a call toll-free at coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Or you can give us send us an email, gardentalkradio@gmail.com. gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Send us an email. Let us know where you're listening from. Before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's joke of the week.
But
Not yet. You have to say the joke first, and then the yeah.
What happened to the plant in math class?
What happened to the plant in math class? First of all, I think we're thinking too deep. Plant shouldn't be in math class, but go ahead.
It grew square roots. I can't talk. It grew square roots.
Okay. And we have a bonus one for you. Normally have one, but the last couple of times we've had two. What did the sweet potato say to the pumpkin?
I am what I am.
There you go. This week's joke of the week is brought to you by
Rescue.com, American-made rescue products. Keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests, insects, and wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at rescue.com. That's rescue.com.
So there is a lot of information in the world, in books and on the internet, that are very beneficial to us as gardeners. However, in the age of, and I guess this was before the age of the internet, there was, information passed down that wasn't scientifically proven, wasn't completely accurate, though there's parts of it. So we're going to go over a couple of those parts of it and explain, it's kind of right, but there's a lot of wrong to it. So I'm going to start with this, Holly. The Three Sisters Garden. The premise is you grow corn as the vertical item, you grow pole beans as a nitrogen fixer, and you grow squash as a shade cover or mulch.
Yeah, so... But there's so that's
what the premise is. That is what people say. Here's why you're doing it.
Right, and then people went further and said that the beans were putting nitrogen back into the soil to feed the corn, and this is not true. So yes, the beans, the benefit is the ground cover, the stalk of the corn to be the trellis, and then the beans to grow up the trellis. That's fine. That makes sense. Is it always going to work out that way? It might not, but that's okay.
Some people do peas instead of beans too.
Yeah.
But the purpose, yes, beans.
But by the time the peas get big enough to grow up the corn stalk, they're not going to be good.
No, right. But the actuality of this is, yes, beans do create nitrogen and infuse it in the soil.
But it takes a long time.
It takes up to 5 years to have readable measurements of nitrogen infused in the soil.
And also, it's not like... It doesn't just stay in one spot because of rain, because of microorganisms, etc. So it's not like the beans are like, okay, I'm going to fix the nitrogen into the soil and it's going to stay in this exact one plot. That's not how it works. So
it does work. The premise of the Three Sisters does work phenomenal, having three items kind of grown in one spot. But the execution or the answer to that is incorrect.
So what you
beans are for the corn is the trellis for the beans.
So if you want to grow corn in your backyard or wherever, you do want to make sure that your soil is very high in nitrogen.
It sucks the juice out. Yeah, it really.
So you can do this. A lot of people do this. I think it's a really great and cool concept, but just keep in mind that you are going to have to affix nitrogen in your soil to get that corn to successfully grow. A lot of people will grow, their own sweet corn or like a popcorn. It is an option, but just keep that in mind. And and the ground cover is right, and beans and etc.
Next one, blossom end rot. I put Tums in the hole at the time of planting, and the Tums prevents the blossom end rot. Now, if you was with us last year, season 8, episode 1, you can find that at our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, or any podcast platform. Just search the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. We had garden mythbuster Robert Polovis on, and he addressed this, and shocking information, because he's tested that. This is what he does for a living. You would need 80 Tums per tomato plant, assuming that you do have low calcium. You would need 80 Tums underneath each tomato plant to affix the correct amount of calcium correction in the soil for your plants to accurately grow correctly. Now, you need a soil test first from soilsavvy.com or growsmart.com in order to figure out if you have a calcium deficiency. If you do, other plants will tell you. But 80 Tums, what is actually occurring when you have blossom end rot? That is the blackening portion under the ripening fruit of a tomato.
Yeah, so blossom end rot is basically lack of access to calcium in your soil. So it's not lack of
you can have all the calcium in the soil in the world, but it's locked out. It can't get to it.
So what happens, this happens to most people, is you plant your tomatoes in the spring, late spring, early summer, whatever you want to call it. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to water them in. And then we get some rain, so you don't think about watering. And the plants are doing fine. And then we get to the first harvest. And typically it's you get a little less rain at that point in the summer. So your first tomato fruiting has blossom end rot, and people are like, add Tums or add
powdered milk, or liquid milk,
or Epsom salt or whatever.
Well, Epsom salt is not even the right.
Right, but anyway, people give you some sort of remedy that you need to water it in, and so then you're like, oh, it worked, but it worked because you watered it in. You gave the water into the soil, and then unlocked those nutrients and allowed the problem to fix itself.
Whether you're no matter what method of growing you are doing, you will always the soil is always drier than what you think it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way to fix this is obviously to water regularly. If you can afford a irrigation system to invest in, that's a really great option. Otherwise, just put yourself on a timer, a routine, a schedule, whatever it may be, and you can water every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, or whatever works for you. I mean, obviously, if it rains, keep in mind that you might want something like a rain gauge because you might think, oh, that was a lot of rain, but it was only like a quarter inch.
And make sure the soil is moist whenever you water it. Eggshells are producing calcium for my tomatoes and other plants.
I mean, it's not a lie, but it's about how they get the eggshells. So if you just start popping hand crushed eggshells into the planting hole, will it work? Yeah, but it'll take a long time.
12 to 18 months is what it will take in order to get the soil or the calcium to break down to a usable form.
Right. So you want to maybe pulverize the tomatoes.
Not the tomato, the eggshell.
The eggshells. Otherwise, just toss them with your compost. It's going to just add to your compost, and it's a better.
And it's so minute, though.
It's very minute. Yeah. Yes, you got to eat a lot of eggs.
Let's go with soap CDs, tin pans, scaring deer away.
I mean, this might work. If you plant, people will hang like
bing, papa bing type.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And it might annoy you. And the CDs are because they're reflective. If you don't know what a CD is. I'm just kidding.
It's a tiny record that's shiny.
But CDs are reflective, so you want to keep that in mind. So when they move in the sunlight, they scare the deer.
But also there's a certain point where the deer are curious enough going, that's not going to that's not really a hazard. That's not a threat to me. It's just something shiny. I'm going to keep eating the peas and the berries.
Right. And on like a cloudy day, they're not going to care. The soap theory is a certain type of soap. I think it's Irish, whatever.
Yes, it's supposed to the smell.
Yeah, the smell. I don't know how effective that is. But the thing to keep in mind, however you're keeping pests out of your garden, they're not going to if they want the food bad enough, they're just going to go for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've had guests on where the more desirable plants, if you are in an area where you have deer problems, for instance, put those more desirable plants in the center and the less desirable ones around the perimeter. And there are methods, organic methods of like rose bushes and those type of plants in order to put around the perimeter. There are organic means of deterrents that are not going to they'll keep the deer away.
Like a moat with alligators in it.
Yeah, that would work too.
Yeah. But so if you do deal with pests, whether it be deer, rabbits, if you can have some sort of fencing, that's going to be ideal. But you can try different things. I just keep in mind that if that's their only food option, they're going to go for it.
Real quickly, companion planting. You go online, you type in companion planting and look for a chart. There's 37 charts and 34 different things on the 37 charts, and nothing makes sense.
So you don't have to companion plant necessarily. You can do like inter-row planting. I think it's called
intercropping.
Intercropping, thank you. Where you grow radishes among the tomatoes, and because the radishes grow in 30 days, they'll be fine until the tomatoes get too tall to shade them out. Things like that. Where
you can also take, and where you're growing squash, put rosemary or basil plants around it to mask the smell of the zucchini to keep the squash vine borer from embedding the larvae in the stem. So you're using two plants. Yes, you're companion planting, but not in the aspect of, I plant this next to this and it makes it sweeter. It's the term companion planting has been all twisted around.
Right. So when you look at these charts or whatever, you want to make sure that there's some actual applicable logic versus what just sounds good.
Well, what sounds good is waltonsinc.com.
Yeah, we are brought to you today by Walton's Inc. Listen, we know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At waltonsinc.com, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created meatgistics.com, an informational site to help you go from edible to animal with the best finished
animal
products.
to edible.
Animal to edible.
There you go.
Yeah. They have their full line of meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers, and more. Walton's everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50, to save 10% off your orders of $50 or more. That's at waltonsinc.com.
When we return, the world of lettuces. It's quite an interesting little thing. You're tuned in to the Garden with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
4-Jar Canning Supply, your one-stop shop for all your canning needs, where old ways meet new in every jar. They are a family with decades of home canning experience, offering top-quality products and outstanding service. Never run out of canning lids again. Whether you're a seasoned canner or just starting out, their extensive range of canning products will elevate your canning game. 4jars.com. Inspired by the homemade preserves of our childhoods, they want to share that same joy with you. They deeply care about your family's health and understand the importance of homemade, nutritious meals. That's why they offer high-quality products to help you preserve your food. Quality canning lids, pressure canners, vacuum seal machines, and all the tools you need to get the job done. 4Jars has you covered. Our canning lids provide the perfect airtight seal for any regular, wide, or gym-sized jar. With the thickest lids on the market, they provide long-lasting freshness, up to 18 months, and are rust-resistant, ensuring your preserves stay secure. Use code 4jars25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars.com. That's FORJARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars, FORJARS.com.
Want bigger blooms and better yields? Without the hassle, Carricade makes gardening easy with eco-friendly, effective solutions. Rated 4.8 stars, trusted by growers like you. Shop carrotcade.com and use the code radio10, that's radio10, to save 10% off your order at carrotcade.com.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com. Edmonds Roses is a family-owned and operated rose company with the largest selection of roses online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at edmondroses.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at edmondsroses.com.
Brome is home to the Squirrel Buster brand of truly squirrel-proof bird feeder. We have been designing and manufacturing wild bird feeders since 1998. When a squirrel lands on the Squirrel Buster, its weight automatically closes the seed ports, denying access to the seed but not harming the squirrels. We design products that are simple enough for anyone to use. They're built to last a long time and are backed by our lifetime care to extend the life of our products. We offer expert customer service to help owners with any needed maintenance or repairs. Visit brome.com for more information. Make watering easy. DripWorks provides quality drip irrigation supplies and equipment to gardeners just like you for all your growing needs across the U.S. and Canada. Purchase online at dripworks.com. Wondering if your soil is ready for a successful spring planting season? At Grow Smarts, we make it easy to find out. With our at-home soil test kits, you can pinpoint exactly what your garden or lawn needs to thrive. Simply order online and we'll ship a test kit right to your door with everything you need, including a prepaid shipping label to send the item back. In just 2 business days, you'll receive clear, concise lab results highlighting your soil's pH levels and nutrient needs. Plus, our customized recommendations will guide you on the perfect fertilizers and amendments to use. No more guesswork, just healthier plants, vibrant flowers, and bountiful harvests. Right now, you can save 10% on your order with the code RADIO at growsmart.com. That's GROSMART.com with code RADIO. It's time to kick off your spring garden with confidence. Make the most of your soil and watch your garden flourish, because when you grow smarter, your garden flourishes. Wind River chimes will always be the inspiring harmony. With a large selection and customization options, you will find the sound that soothes you. Visit windriverchimes.com to shop and find out more. Roots and Rhizomes is a family-owned and operated gardening company specializing in daylilies, irises, and perennials. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rootsrhizomes.com. That's code 15TG25.
Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy that you chose to be part of the program or allowing us to be part of your day. If you missed any of those coupon codes in that segment or any of them that support the program, you can go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Money tab at the top of the page. Well, Holly, we've done this show 8+ years, 8 years and 3 shows now. So right around 565 segments of content topics, and never have we covered lettuces. And lettuces is a early summer crop in which you can grow pretty much anywhere, as long as the temperatures don't get and the day length doesn't get too long. And lettuces fall within a couple of different categories as well.
Yeah, there's 4 different categories, and there's 4 categories. So there's romaine, which is also known as cos, C-O-S. It's a loose, long, oblong heads. Then there's crisp heads. So those are known, like most commonly known as iceberg. And then butterhead is a soft, kind of buttery, loose, almost loose-ish leaves. It's not as tight balled as like iceberg. And then loose leaf. This is a lettuce that grows just like a
grass.
Like a grass almost, yeah. So
now the key with any of these is you want cool temperatures and or otherwise and shorter day length in the fall and the spring.
What's your favorite lettuce?
The little butter crunch is nice, but the variety of different colors you get with loose leaf, the benefit of the loose leaf, if you do it correctly, it's a cut and come again. You don't want to cut it down to the ground. You want to cut it about 2/3 up the stalk, and then you can have several harvests prior to it getting bitter and going to seed.
My favorite lettuce is romaine, which I think you know.
Red or burgundy or green?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
No, but I like to buy the romaine hearts, when it's off season. I don't like loose leaf lettuce very much at all, but it's what we grow.
What is the purpose that you don't like loose leaf?
Because it's like weird to handle.
It's not It's not the taste or the consumption.
No, and it's not crispy.
Oh, it's not. It doesn't have that pop.
I like a crisp crunch lettuce.
Okay, like the romaine.
Yeah.
We grow both. We've grown romaine green and burgundy and found that the burgundy doesn't go to seed as quickly or bolt as quickly. The purpose or the reason why plants go to seed or bolt is because the day lengths are getting longer and the temperatures are getting warmer. It's not necessarily the temperatures are getting hot. That does have some contributing factors, but the length of day is as important as the temperature. And with the romaine, we have found that the bitterness, we can eat lettuce all summer long, but because we understand that the bitterness is in the central stem or the vein of that leaf. If you remove that central vein and just eat the outer portions of the leaf, it tastes just as good as it did when it was young and mature. Mm-hmm. It's whenever it's bitter, it's going to seed, you eat the whole thing. That's why you don't like it.
I just don't like that it's not very crunchy. But anyway.
And the good thing about this, when they go to seed, they make hundreds and hundreds of seeds, and they basically reseed your bed for next year. Your flower bed, your next to the house or in the garden. It's really a neat and easy system of replanting without you having to replant.
So let's talk. We kind of talked about the colors of lettuce. There's green, there's red, and then there's like a purplish, and then there's the burgundy.
Right.
And there's even like bronze, like arugula has like that bronzy color.
Right.
And then the rose as well.
And there's not a defined number of varieties of these particular types of lettuces because there are these what we talked about, and then there's subspecies like kale and Swiss chard is also considered, arugula is considered a form of a lettuce. So there's a lot of different what they call rabbit holes to go down.
Yeah. So there's no one type like you had mentioned, and then
now you can start all of these from seed. We've started you can the romaine. You can start from seed. We've done that. Also, we've bought 6 pack or what do you call it? 6 cell packs at the garden center. The iceberg lettuce, we have never been able to successfully grow that. That needs cooler days, like a maximum temperature of 73 degrees. It's very difficult, at least for us, to grow full-size iceberg lettuce. If you are if you have done that successfully, we'd certainly like to hear from you at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. And then leaf lettuce, you don't want to start that inside. You just want to go ahead and find your desired planting location and broadcast the seeds and dust it with soil on top of it go ahead.
So, I mean, you can, sorry, I was just going to talk about the nutrients.
Yeah, go ahead with the nutrients of this.
So people are like, iceberg lettuce has like no nutrients. It does have some nutrients. It just has significantly less than other lettuce. You're not sitting, I mean, yes, it is like 99% water, but most lettuce is. So you want to think about that. The darker the color, the more nutrient dense it's going to be.
Beta carotene,
yep. And most lettuce, or all lettuce, has vitamin A, typically vitamin K, and that will vary. And then the beta carotene, and then potassium. So the lighter the lettuce, so like iceberg has the least amount, and then the darker, like the dark green, the dark red, has more amount. So like a romaine, if you're looking for like a crunchy salad lettuce, people recommend doing a romaine versus an iceberg. And then you have like the leaf lettuce and the butter crunch.
Well, you look at, if we just look at from a genetic price structure, the cheapest lettuce typically is the iceberg. And that is what is on pretty much any sandwich that you go to any store. Now, whenever you start to, quote unquote, get fancier sandwiches at more of a, quote unquote, high-end restaurant, you're going to see the different colors of lettuce, or you're going to see romaine on your sandwich. So it's a price point as well. And I guess it's odd that you see it that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's cheap, and also I think iceberg keeps probably a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's like a cabbage. It will sit there and won't dry out, or if it does dry out, you can remove the outer layers like you would a cabbage. Leaf lettuce goes very quickly. It's got an extremely short shelf life. Romaine has more a longer shelf life, and some people will actually take their romaine, harvest it early, and set it in the fridge in a glass of water where the roots or the cut portion is slightly submerged, and it'll kind of grow some roots, and you can get a little bit more longevity out of it that way.
And then, so we're not going to shame you for liking iceberg.
Nothing wrong with
But
iceberg.
if you enjoy a nice salad, you can up the nutrient content with iceberg by adding things like other vegetables like peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, etc., to kind of give yourself, and this, you can do this with any lettuce salad, but if you're like, I really like a nice iceberg salad base, you can add these other things to kind of give yourself a little bit more boost of those beneficial nutrients.
And the other lettuces, and the romaine, the leaf lettuces, to me, have a flavor compared to the iceberg. The iceberg is just wet.
Yeah, I could see that.
The romaine has this, I don't know what to call it, what tones it has, but it has, there's a flavor there.
Yeah, right. And maybe people see iceberg as a good base for their salads because it's a vehicle for a neutral palate for other things that they're adding to their salad.
Now, in the U.S., there was no one type of lettuce that was predominant until the earliest 20th century when crisphead or iceberg lettuce became gaining popularity. And after the 40s, with the development of the iceberg lettuce, 95% of the lettuces consumed in the United States are the crisphead or the iceberg lettuce.
You're a crisphead. Okay, so so lettuce, that's the situation there. And it is interesting that there's, everybody has their favorite, and it's not all the
So
same.
if you've never grown lettuce, you can grow lettuce in the ground, in a raised bed, in a container, in a grow bag, in a windowsill. Find and do some research on what kind of lettuces, because you may not like lettuce, and because you've only had a certain type of lettuce. And it's like, I don't like this lettuce because it's just so plain. Or
maybe you tried to grow something like a butter crunch and it work out for you. And you're like, I can't grow lettuce, but maybe you could grow like a loose leaf lettuce or something else.
And there's nothing wrong with buying the starts at your local independent garden center for the romaine or the butter crunch butterhead lettuces.
I think that's how we had success, is we started with starts.
We did starts with the romaine, and the butter crunch we started as well as from seed. So
we should try to grow some butter crunch again.
It's the crispness of a salad early in the spring is something that is desired by many gardeners.
From your backyard.
Or
your front yard.
Wherever you can grow.
Or your side yard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Holly, soon it'll be warming up, and you'll want to make sure you can enjoy your yard without sharing it with those beetles and grubs.
Yeah, with spring just pretty much here, it's time to start thinking about controlling the beetles and grubs in your garden. There's all sorts of Japanese beetles articles about how they're taking over.
Grub Gone can be applied to your turf, garden, around ornamentals, and it controls the grubs and lessens the impact that the beetles have on your yard this summer. Easy to apply with a commercial spreader or irrigate it right into the soil, specifically designed to target grubs and beetle invaders without harming beneficial insects like bees, ladybugs, and butterflies.
And to be honest, it's the only non-chemical that works. You can find out more at phyllombioproducts.com. That's PHYLLOM bioproducts.com.
As well as grubgone.com. Hang out with us when we return. Canner and food preserver and blogger Linda Ziedrich will be with us. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now, 1-800-927-SHOW.
Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online.
Vermont Bean Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of seeds online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. Have insects such as aphids or fungal gnats invaded your plants? Fight back with Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bits. Organic Summit Year-Round Spray Oil kills insect pests on indoor and outdoor plants. All natural mosquito bits kill fungal gnats larvae in container plants. Both products are harmless to people, plants, and wildlife. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bit are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and at SummitResponsibleSolutions.com.
David J. Frank, Southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company, is a landscaper you need. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com.
Get higher yields with durable green bed raised garden bed kits designed to be drainable, breathable, pest resistant, and long-lasting. DurableGreenBed.com. Abundance guaranteed.
Roots and Rhizomes is a family-owned and operated gardening company specializing in daylilies, irises, and perennials. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rootsrhizomes.com. That's code 15TG25.
Tree Ivy Root Development System, the quickest way to get new trees on their feet. TreeIvy.com.
Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear, non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts. Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com.
R.H. Shumway is a family-owned and operated gardening company with a large selection of seeds and plants online. You can use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rhshumway.com. That's code 15TG25.
Mantis garden tiller cultivators are the perfect solution for any garden. With their gas-powered 2-cycle or 4-cycle engine, these powerful machines can till 9 or 16 inches of land without you breaking a sweat. And it doesn't stop there. Mantis's optional attachments allow you to aerate, plow, and more with the snap of a finger. Engineered with durability in mind, Mantis tiller cultivators will be your guaranteed garden companion for a long time. You can find more out and details at mantis.com. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Ollie radio show. Happy you're with us. Missed any of those coupon codes? The parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, underneath the Money tab at the top of the page. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Linda Ziedrich is a passionate canner, food preserver, gardener, blogger, and author. She also has taught classes on food preservation. She's written a number of books, and her newest book, The Curious Kitchen Gardener, came out recently. And she has a book coming out in May called First Fruits, the Llewellyns, and the Birth of the Pacific Coast Fruit Industry. Welcome to the program, Linda.
Thank you, Holly.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your day, not only to educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. And I'll start with this. Everybody has their story of how they got into certain things. How did you get into canning and preserving? How did that happen? And in providing education on it?
Well, I did some preserving with my mom when I was a child, applesauce and jam, but I didn't go beyond that. I really got into preserving as a gardener when I was in my early 20s. My husband and I had a first garden that produced mustard. The first year, that's all we had. But a couple of years after that, we were living in the Boston area, and I had a community garden plot, and I took the master gardening course. And then soon thereafter, I was running Somerville's community garden program for 2 years. We had 6 community gardens. During those years on the East Coast, my husband and I pickled cucumbers and beans, but we didn't get seriously into canning until we moved to the Santa Cruz Mountains of California. And there I had a large vegetable garden and a small orchard that I inherited. And suddenly I had lots of fruit to can. So I think that was really the beginning of things. And soon I wrote a book on pickling, and then a little later one at the publisher's suggestion on jam, jellies, and other sweet preserves.
Now, moving from East Coast to West Coast, some people may think that's quite a transition, not only in the environment, but in growing zones as well, and trying to relearn. Was that a challenge for you?
No, because I was just learning little by little as I went along. And I'm from California anyway. I mean, originally. Okay. So I had a sense for the place.
Okay, great. So how do you recommend people get started with home canning, if they have no experience and don't know anybody who can can?
Well, I would suggest getting started the way I did with applesauce and jam made with packaged pectin, because those are just really easy things to do. And once you've learned to make jam with packaged pectin, you might start trying it without any packaged pectin.
Okay, so your newest book, The Curious Kitchen Gardener, has come out not too long ago. Can you tell us more about it? What might interest our listeners to pick up a copy? And your newest book is going to come out in a couple of months here.
Yeah. Right. The Curious Kitchen Gardener is a collection of 33 short essays on uncommon vegetables and fruits that are easy to grow and that will grow most places in the country. But they're foods that people don't know a lot about. So the chapters are not only about how to grow them, but especially about how to use them in the kitchen. And each chapter includes a recipe.
What would be your most unique most unique jam that you make, and your most popular jam that you make, in your opinion?
Oh, I don't know. I've made a lot of weird ones. One book that I've written and have not yet published because the publisher canceled it was on savory jams. And I did a lot of wild experimentation with that. Those are pretty weird. But what my family likes best is the old favorites: strawberry jam, raspberry jam, blackberry jam. And I think probably most people prefer those common jams.
What's a savory jam? I know, I've made tomato basil jam. Is that what you would kind of call a savory jam, or what else is there?
These recipes mostly have a little bit of salt, and they typically have more acid than other jam and jelly recipes. They might have vinegar, not just citrus juice, but vinegar. Some of them have hot pepper and, of course, other spices and herbs. Some of them are really like onion jam, which is, I would say, is not a true jam. It's just a cooked down mixture with acid and salt. It's kind of a mush, but it comes out with a jammy texture. So there are a few recipes like that, but most of them are proper jams and jellies, but with an extra something. So they go well with meats, say grilled, barbecued meats. They go well with a lot of things, but also usually they're great on bread and biscuits and so on.
Okay, fantastic. So, what would you say is one of the biggest misconceptions that people might have about home canning?
That it's dangerous and difficult, and that's not a complete misconception, because it can be. If you are canning low acid vegetables in water, or you're canning meat or fish, you've got to get yourself a pressure canner, and you have to learn to use it, and you have to follow directions very carefully, so you come out with a safe product and nobody gets botulism.
Right.
But
because botulism is still a thing in 2025.
yes, it is. But I think most people just want to make jams, jellies, pickles. And in that case, you need to understand some basic principles, but it's really easy and, it's fairly easy, and there's just not a lot to worry about.
And like you said with the pressure canner, we pressure canned venison for the first time last year, and we've always been kind of hesitant about canning meat, but it's just like anything in life. Just because you've never done it doesn't mean you can't do it if you do it safely and do your research beforehand.
Right. You just need to follow the directions, and if you have a dial gauge on your canner, you should have that checked every year or two. But for jams and pickles, they are preserved products. The canning is just a second extra step that preserves them longer. But they're already preserved products. So as long as you have sugar and acid in your jam and you have plenty of acid in your pickles, they are safe products. You don't need to worry about botulism.
Yeah, so can we talk about why people add, the vinegar to the pickled vegetables and the sugar to the jams or the canned vegetables, and the importance of why people do that versus just like, especially when they're doing water bath canning versus just like preserving things in water. Why do we add the acid?
The acid is a preservative. So in general, if you have 1 part vinegar, 5% vinegar to 1 part water, you have quite well acidified pickle, and you will not have spoilage. Commercially, they use 1 part vinegar to 2 parts water. So if you're being conservative, you stick to the 1-to-1 ratio and you'll be just fine. With jams, you don't have a jam without a lot of sugar. You can cook down really sweet fruits like figs and have jam without added sugar, but generally you do need to add sugar. Now we have low methoxyl pectin, which gels with calcium instead of with sugar and acid. You don't need sugar or acid. But not only will you have something that's not really jam, it won't taste like jam, but without the sugar or acid. But if you don't have enough of either of those, you've got a botulism risk.
With the development of the internet, what people have done for years that was incorrect, now everybody's doing because they think it's something that they should do. What is the biggest mistake you see home canners make that just makes you cringe every single time?
Using poor quality produce. I judge 4-H preserves at the state fair, and the youngest kids are supposed to make jelly with commercial juice. And sometimes the 4-H leaders are cheap and they buy the cheapest juice made from concentrate that doesn't taste good. And it just doesn't make good jelly. And I do taste all their jams and jellies at the fair. And so the ones that don't taste good are not going to get the best ribbons. Another example is beans. When you can beans, either just canned in water with a pressure canner, or you pickle beans, you don't want them to be swollen with seeds bulging. They should be straight and slender. They just look a whole lot better, and I think they taste better too. What's another example? Yeah, I forget. I had another one in mind, but I lost it.
It's okay. So what would you?
I know.
Go ahead.
Cucumbers. So cucumbers, most people use them oversized. Not only are they not completely fresh, but they're overgrown. So I would say that in general, they should be no more than about 1.25 inches in diameter for making pickles.
That's some really great tips. So what would you say are some of your best and safest canning resources to share with our listeners?
Well, if you're doing pressure canning, or if you're working with tomatoes, which are kind of in between low acid and high acid, it's best to use USDA materials. So there's the National Center for Home Food Preservation on the internet, and there are extension services in every state, and some states have master food preserver programs. So all the state extensions and as well as the National Center have good instructions for you. But for jams and jellies, pickles, there are lots of good books and blogs. There are lots of good sources of information.
Well, Linda, we greatly appreciate the time you've offered us. How can people find out more about you and purchase your books?
I have a website at agardenerstable.com. My pickle book is on Amazon. The jam book, now I've bought back the rights to, so I'm selling it from my website. My new book is with Oregon State University Press, so it can be had on their website or any other bookseller's website. And sorry, the Curious Kitchen Gardener is from Timber Press. So it can be found on the Timber Press website or any other bookseller's website. And then the book that's coming out in May, the history book, is on the Oregon State University website and elsewhere.
Well, Linda, thank you so much for the time you've offered us and the education you provided for all of us. We thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And when we return, it's your garden questions and our garden answers. You're tuned into the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
4-Jar Canning Supply, your one-stop shop for all your canning needs, where old ways meet new in every jar. They are a family with decades of home canning experience, offering top-quality products and outstanding service. Never run out of canning lids again. Whether you're a seasoned canner or just starting out, their extensive range of canning products will elevate your canning game. 4jars.com. Inspired by the homemade preserves of our childhoods, they want to share that same joy with you. They deeply care about your family's health and understand the importance of homemade, nutritious meals. That's why they offer high-quality products to help you preserve your food. Quality canning lids, pressure canners, vacuum seal machines, and all the tools you need to get the job done. 4Jars has you covered. Our canning lids provide the perfect airtight seal for any regular, wide, or gym-sized jar. With the thickest lids on the market, they provide long-lasting freshness, up to 18 months, and are rust-resistant, ensuring your preserves stay secure. Use code 4jars25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars.com. That's FORJARS25 to save 10% off your order.
Azure Standard is America's premier family-owned online store for organic foods and healthy products for your home and garden. They deliver directly to families and commercial customers through over 3,500 drop points across all 50 states. Azure Standards strives to make grocery shopping easy, bringing all your needs to one convenient pickup location. As a trusted national health food distributor, Azure Standard offers bulk and specialty health foods to communities nationwide. With over 12,000 products, each one is approved and carefully sampled to ensure the highest quality. Azure Standard holds firm to non-GMO, organic, and natural standards. From food and beauty products to household items, nutritional supplements, animal care, hobby supplies, and even garden essentials, Azure Standard truly has everything for your daily living. Visit azurestandard.com, that's A-Z-U-R-E standard.com. Use promo code Joey and Holly 15 at checkout to get 15% off for new customers who open an account for the first time and place a minimum order of $100 or more, shipped to a drop location of your choice. That's code Joey and Holly 15 at azurestandard.com. Azure Standard is A-Z-U-R-E standard.com.
Hey listeners, we're excited to introduce to you Sun Warrior. They are well known for protein powders and supplements, and that they are 100% clean, plant-based, non-GMO, soy-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, and without filler. Since you are into gardening and things that come from the earth, we thought you would appreciate that they offer high-quality, plant-based ingredients that come from our Mother Earth and that your body is craving. They've made a special code for you for 25% off your order. At checkout, enter JoeyHolly25 and save 25% on your order at sunwarrior.com. That coupon code JoeyHolly25 to save 25% off your order at sunwarrior.com. Chip Drop is a website you can sign up for free wood chip mulch delivery right to your door for free. Chip Drop connects homeowners and gardeners with tree services who are trying to get rid of their wood chips. You can also sign up to get free logs and firewood. Go to chipdrop.com to learn more and sign up for a free account.
My garden hasn't looked this good in a decade. That's what gardeners are saying about Carricade. No extra fertilizers, no harsh sprays, just thriving plants and massive blooms. Rated 4.8 stars. Shop Carricade.com and use the code RADIO10, that's Radio10, to save 10% off your order at Carricade.com. Goodbye, biting bugs and plant invaders. No More Bugs by Naturally Green Products is your answer. No More Bugs is DEET-free and not sticky on your skin. USDA certified, No More Bugs has been a favorite by consumers across the country for over 14 years. More than a repellent, it is safe for you, your plants, pets, and home. Available online at nomorebugs.net, Amazon, Walmart.com, and the Home Shopping Network. Totally Tomato is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of tomatoes online. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at totallytomato.com. That's code 15TG25.
Edmonds Roses is a family-owned and operated rose company with the largest selection of roses online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at edmondroses.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at edmondsroses.com. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Time for Q&A. You got a question? Send it on over. GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com. GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call toll free, coast to coast, 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469.
All right, so I live in an apartment, but our community is offering 12 by 6 foot plots to rent for the summer, $40 from May to October. I think it's a pretty good deal. I've always wanted to try my hand at gardening. What should I plant if I decide to give it a go? I'm in Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania can be quite, I think it's like a couple of growing zones.
5, 6, 7. Yeah. Depending on how close you are to the coast.
Yeah. So, I would recommend growing what you know you're going to eat.
You're looking, you got 5 months.
Yeah.
So some of these community gardens shut down like at Labor Day, which
it says May to October.
Yeah. So we're good shape on that. So you can, tomatoes, beans, your staples, cucumbers.
Peas.
Well,
radishes.
Peas would be in the hot, radishes. Those are cool. You're going to fight the heat on those and the day length.
You could even do
Swiss chard.
Yeah, you can. I wouldn't necessarily recommend strawberry plants.
No, because that's a
but
perennial.
like ground cherries, you could
Ground
do
cher-
if you
yeah.
want something kind of a fruit-esque situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the 12 by 16, you're going to have 12 by 6. You're going to have plenty of space for a little bit of everything. You may not have the quantity unless you go all in on one thing to have canning. But if you just want a regular staple of peppers and eggplants, and it's the type of thing.
So what I wouldn't plant would be potatoes, just because I feel like they're a dime a dozen.
If you don't know, if you don't know the soil consistency, it's going to be you're going to lose time and space.
I would avoid herbs. I would do that like if you have a balcony situation, doing that on a balcony. You can even do them indoors.
Yeah.
I would grow stuff that is like very heavily seasonal and delicious, like Joy mentioned, tomatoes, peppers, things like that, where you're getting a good bang for your buck.
All right, I'd like to hear your show again. How do I do that? I waited all winter long for the return of the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show, and I have not been disappointed. Thank you. I start my seeds in peat pellets, which I buy at the end of the season at a greatly discounted rate. That's John from Wham Radio, 1600 AM and 92.7 FM out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Well, John, we greatly appreciate you were not disappointed. And the peat pellets, as we talked about in segment one of show one a couple of weeks ago, there's nothing wrong with them if you supplement nutrients in a liquid fertilizer at quarter of the strength, because those peat pellets have peat or cocoa coir, and there's no nutrient value for the plants to sustain themselves until you transplant them out.
Yeah, so that's what you want to do. You want to add some fertilizer. So last year I had 5 tomato plants in a 4x4 space. New soil, they did wonderful. In the other half, 4x4 I had cucumbers. They bloomed, but hardly any fruits. Being this close to each other is that bad. So it's not bad.
I think it's a pollination problem.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Because tomatoes are self-pollinating. Cucumbers need insects to pollinate.
So what you want to do with that is, first of all, keep in mind that cucumbers are not a long season plant. They're usually done by in most areas by September. But second of all, once you start to see them put that flower out, you want to go to each one and just kind of touch it in the middle.
What was that noise? Okay.
Take your finger, a Q-tip, a paintbrush, whatever you want, and just give a little tap in the middle of each flower, because it puts out these feeler flowers. Oh, am I going to get pollinated? Oh, okay, I'll get pollinated. And then you can plant flowers to entice the bees or other pollinators. There's a lot of pollinator mixes you can buy that are especially native to your area. You can usually find them at your local independent garden center. And you can plant those around there, but doing the little tap in the middle of the flowers, that will help encourage the pollination.
All right. When starting seeds in the house, how many seeds do you put in each planting cell and why? When you direct sow them in the garden, how many do you plant in each hole and why?
I feel like this is your favorite topic to
Well,
talk about.
it's good that they're asking why.
Right.
Rather than just, what do I do? Okay, that's fine.
Right.
Explanation.
Right. So for each cell, as long as, if they're brand new seeds, I would plant just 1 or 2 per cell. Especially if they're small, you're probably going to end up doing 2 per cell. If it's a larger seed, a pepper.
Peppers or
even a tomato seed, those you could do 1 per cell. As far as direct sowing seeds, I would do the same. Unless they're smaller, you're probably going to end up putting more than 1. If it's something like beet seeds, which you direct sow, they're a seed cluster. So once you start to see sprouting for each little sprout packet,
seedling,
there you go. You want to trim back the ones that look the smallest.
So Swiss chard is the same, but you don't have to trim back Swiss chard. Beets you have to trim back, otherwise you don't get a bulb.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, we are out of time, and we appreciate yours. Missed any portion of this program, you can revisit at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page. Also available on any podcast platforms. Just simply search the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Next week on the program, tune in. We will be discussing easy vegetables to grow, whether you're a new gardener or advanced, as well as 4 keys to a better garden this year in your backyard. Our guest is YouTuber and backyard organic gardener Angela Gist will be with us, and we'll answer more of your garden questions. So until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.